Well, hello. Swallowed some bloody dust there. Well, match review. It's finished. Excuse me. Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 3. Wait, I mean, am I surprised by that? No, to be quite honest with you, not really. I am disappointed though, to say the least, that the fact, like, the way we give those 2 goals away, it was like, to be fair, the Ballard one, unlucky. After he was outstanding, because he was defending really, really well. But let's go for the first 20 minutes of that match, right? I thought Sunderland were very, very, very slow. Hold on a second, I'm just going to turn this TV down a minute, hold on. Don't want any background noise. I just thought the 20 minutes, Newcastle were passing the ball about, and that's all they were doing. Just passing the ball about, they weren't doing much with it, but we couldn't get the ball off them. And when we did get the ball, it was like we had all of a ticking time bomb. It was going to explode in 3 seconds, like we had to get rid of it. It was just too panicky from Sunderland. It was like, quick, get shot of this, quick, get shot of this. It's like we showed them too much respect, like, oh, the big boys are playing here, we've got to be sort of really, like, you know, careful here. And there was a Bellingham, when he had the ball and he tried to run forward with it, and he was like so off the pace, it was unreal. He just got caught up by one of the Newcastle players, and he was like just miles off the pitch, so slow. We just looked like that, and Newcastle looked like that. Do you know what I mean? And at 1-0 at half time, I'm thinking like, well, it's only 1-0. How can happen if we get that chance? Because you will get them odd chances and stuff. It's only 1-0 at half time. It ain't too bad. And I give the lads the remote control. My boys, they're watching YouTube at half time. I says, "Well, give us the remote back." I says, get the second half on. I whacked the second half on. I didn't even see the goal. We're 2-0 down. 40 odd seconds gone. I went, what the hell? What's gone on here? And then I seen what happened. I mean, our keeper Pato and Ekwa, I mean, what the hell are you doing on the 18-yard area, like mucking about against a high caliber side like that, a team that's in the Premier League, mucking about, dilly-dallying. I'm sorry, but we deserve everything we got for being 2-0 down. And to me, that's when the tie was over. The tie was over when that happened. Starting the second half, 2-0 down. I mean, the Sunderland fans, they were still getting the pies, pigs, trotters, cheese, chops, cheese and chutney from the stand and the pints. They weren't even working back to the seats, and it was 2-0 down. I bet they felt like flinging the food in the bin. But that was just pressing the self-destruct button. Man, what are you doing? You got the keeper's got the ball. Just get rid of the blooming thing. Just kick it downfield. Didn't muck about, man, against a side like Newcastle. I mean, the reason I'm saying the side like Newcastle because the Premier League, the yards ahead of us. Of course they are. And what do? Funny about it like that at the back. And to me, that was game over then. I just thought that, I thought it was going to be difficult to get a goal to make it 1-1. But to come from 2-0 down, it just weren't happening. You know, I mean, Newcastle, to be fair, they fielded their strongest 11. They wanted to beat Sunderland. They looked at this as a stepping stone to get their season back on track. And they did. And I think we just threw the towel in with Ballard when he took Gordon down for a penalty. And I just think it was like, if it was not good night Vienna by then, it certainly was after that. But I don't know, it was just... Look at some of our players in the Championship, and with big Clark up and with big Bellingham up. It's like, my God, they just looked light years apart, different from getting involved with a Premier League team. They were just... Clark had nowhere to go. He was just being picked off left, right and centre. He was being put back in everybody's back pocket. Clark was. He was just... I mean, there was a couple of times Kieran Trippier just stood there and as if to say, well, thank you, I'll have that off you. It was easy as that. Poor Russian, he couldn't do it out up front. It's scary how much the gulf between the two sides is massive. I mean, we're looking back on, we keep laughing, saying, 6 in a row and this, that and the other. But we're just a million miles apart when you look at that performance now. Like, it's like, yes, we're sitting hovering just outside the playoffs, but we need to invest heavily. If we want to compete with the likes of that, if we want to get up in the Premier League, we've got a lot of work to do. And if that doesn't indicate and tell the owners that what we've got to do, that doesn't, because then don't forget, KLD he's hanging by a shoestring by what he did, mucking about with putting the Newcastle merchandise at the Black Cat's bar. So he's on tenterhooks at the minute. The transfer window's open now. They need to do something. And I don't know, it's just, I mean, I will say congratulations to Newcastle. I'm not going to be a bad sport. Congratulations to them. They deserved that win, even though we're given 2 gifted goals. It was men against boys. It was just massively, obviously, the gulf, but, they did the job. They did the job on us. They've come away and they're into the next round. And it just concerns me that the gulf and the mass between us and Newcastle and how far behind we are. And yes, we saw it had a few chances with Pritchard hit the top side of the bar, and their keeper made a good save. But it just shows you the difference between the Premier League and Championship, doesn't it? I mean, look at Burnley, Sheffield United, the walk the Championship last season, and they're just getting pile drived week in, week out in the Premier League. It's just grown and grown and grown by every season. I mean, if you're looking at that today, it's like, I didn't want Sunderland to get into the Premier League. If that's what we're competing against, and if that's what every game is going to be like against, opposition, and the difference in class, then I didn't want to get up, because we're just a million miles from being ready. So I seen it on the telly. Chris Waddle was bang on. He says if Sunderland want to get up there, and he says if they want to consolidate in the playoffs, he says they've got simply have to spend. They definitely need a striker or two. He says, because he says that's what they've got there is borderline just playoffs. He says they're not going to go automatically. This is nowhere near. He says, but we need a striker. But how many times have we been saying that? We need a striker. It's up to them upstairs to do it, not us. Anybody else. They know now what's needed. But yeah, we were really made look like minnows today. And it's just scary, the gulf, the difference between class. It was just unreal compared to when we last played them in the league. Shows you how far back we've fallen and how far forward Newcastle have gone. We've just drifted massively in that shown today. So be interesting to see what you think. But excuse me, cut a long story short story long. We did press the self-destruct button twice. We gifted them 2 goals. They didn't really have to break sweat to come here and get the win. We did it for them. We're never gonna. It was going to be hard enough to make it 1-1, but 2-0 straight at the start of the second half. Good night, Vienna. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for the subscribers, and thanks for everybody who's tuning in. And be interested in what you say in your comments below. Still will say, how are the lads?